Other farmer who voted for Trump is Nicholas Gilbert, the dairy farmer in New York. He buys feed from Ontario, Canada for his cows. Gilbert was very shocked when he received his latest order. It came with an extra $2,200 tariff fee. He told the Atlantic news outlet, quote, "We have small margins. I had a contracted price on that grain delivered to my barn. It was supposed to be so much per ton, and they added that tariff right on top because it comes from a Canadian feed mill." This tariff surcharge came out of nowhere for him. Gilbert was very shocked because, as with many other Trump voters, he thought Trump's Canadian tariffs were paid by Canada. Gilbert told the news outlet, quote, "I'm not even sure it's legal. We contracted for the price on delivery. If your price of fuel goes up on your truck or it breaks down, that's not my problem. That's what the contract's for." Well, it is legal. And this guy is especially screwed because, unlike other companies, he can't raise his prices. While other companies can pass on to the consumers, Gilbert sells his milk through a farm co-op, so the prices are fixed. He also can't purchase livestock feed anywhere else. He told the Atlantic, first of all, there aren't any other suppliers that are nearby. And if he was to go with another company that's further away in the US, it would be even more expensive. So for now, he has to take the hit. He has to hope that things pan out. And Gilbert said, quote, "We're taking that right on the chin." He also said he's worried about the price of fertilizer and farm equipment going up. So I guess now he figured out how tariffs work. I'm not wishing any harm on these people. I wish they had paid attention, wish they had listened to other people before they cast their ballot.
That's one of their own. A Trump voting farmer now feeling the heat from the same man he helped put in office. He's crying about tariffs he signed up for. These folks didn't just vote wrong, they voted against themselves. Today we're not sugarcoating anything. It's June 2025, Trump's back, and the first to feel it aren't immigrants or liberals. It's the very people who thought he was fighting for them. Farmers, ranchers, rural America. They put on the red hat and handed him the keys. And now the bill is due. You will hear from black voices, white voices, men, women, some laughing, some fed up, all saying the same thing. Y'all voted for this mess, own it. From bailouts to gaslighting to trade deficit that they are trying to bury. We're reacting to the receipts. This ain't fake news. This is what's happening right now. Hit the like if you're tired of the lies. And subscribe if you want real talk with real reactions, and share it because some folks still haven't learned. Let's go into the reaction.
Here we are with another fuck around and find out situation. It seems that this is happening a lot with the Donald Trump administration. So I brought you guys a video recently about a farmer who was selling alfalfa, and he was realizing that because of the tariffs, they're going to lose their farm possibly because China is not buying their alfalfa right now. This next farmer, who says he's a Trump supporter, currently still a Trump supporter, wants us to know that we need to share his video because it needs to get out there so that Donald Trump knows what he's about to do is going to hurt small family farms. Check this shit out.
I'm a supporter of President Donald Trump, voted for him in this election and the last and the one prior to that. However, President Trump is about to allow JBS, the world's most corrupt beef organization, to become publicly traded in America. President Donald Trump will be the president that allows for the complete destruction of the small, independent family farms and cattle ranches if he allows this to go through.
Newsflash, Donald Trump does not give a damn about you. But you know who gives even less of a damn about you? Myself and all the other liberals you thought you were owning when you voted for Donald Trump. What we got for you is a bunch of middle fingers, man. We're like, fuck you. We don't care. We don't care if you lose your farm, bro. You voted for Donald Trump. You even said at the beginning of this video, I am a supporter of Donald Trump. Why the hell would we give a damn about your gripes? You're getting exactly what you voted for. I love when I see the memes and the conservatives out there saying, screw you liberals. This is exactly what I voted for. This is exactly what you voted for. I don't know why you're making this video. This should be a thank you video because this is what you voted for.
Rural America, I hope you're watching. Farmers and ranchers, I hope you're watching because you're being gaslit right out of existence. Hey guys, my name's Will. This is the Back 40, and let's talk about it. Nothing summarizes, nothing epitomizes, nothing represents the gaslighting that's happening to farmers and ranchers in rural America better than the Chinese trade deal that was announced today. Can you imagine a situation in rural America at any job you hold or on any farm and ranch in this country where you could be praised, lifted up, and put on a pedestal for creating a problem, blowing up the entire economy by creating that problem, backing away from your stance that created the problem, and in the end, claiming a victory because you had to back down? That's exactly what just happened today. In rural America, farmers and ranchers, I hope you're watching because all of America is going to pay the price, but you're going to pay a very special price. And the media plays along. Headline after headline today that Trump got his trade deal with China. And oh, what a trade deal it was. He raised the tariffs to 145%. China pushed back, raising reciprocal tariffs of their own. Farmers and ranchers lost $1.6 billion in beef sales. And Australia stepped in to fill the gap. Markets that will not come back again. Are you listening, farmers and ranchers? Up to 80% of corn crop exports gone. 37 billion metric tons of soybeans sold overseas, gone. Brazil, which used to sell China 13% of their row crop reserves and consumptibles, now sells them 43%, and those markets will not be back. Pork sales down. The threats of fowl sales, chicken, turkey, etc., going down. And what did we gain as a result? The administration admits that China gave up not one single concession to get this deal. Not one. All that happened is that the two sides agreed to lower these tariffs and to back off for 90 days, at which time they would begin to start talking about the longer term issues. So again, just to summarize, we raised tariffs on China 145%. China reciprocated and raised tariffs on the United States. Foreign markets went away that will never come back again. And billions of dollars in American agricultural sales are gone forever. All of it. All of it. So that the president and this administration, which understand agriculture and rural America about as much as I understand brain surgery and how to walk past a Shoney's all-you-can-eat breakfast bar.
Now let's be real. When both black and white folks are calling out the same thing and is coming from different angles, you know it's real. This ain't some coastal elite complaining. This is people with sense saying Trump is playing yo. First, you saw a MAGA farmer realizing he's been sold out. Then another guy breaks down. Trump is straight up gaslighting rural America. He told them China was losing. He told them the deal were great. And now these farmers are broke, angry, and still trying to make sense of it. And let's be honest, some of these folks are too deep in a denial to admit they were wrong. They voted wrong. But they ain't lying. The numbers ain't lying. The bank accounts sure as hell ain't lying. Trump ain't saving farmers. He's draining them. And instead of calling it what it is, some are still out here waving flags, hoping for miracles while the man they worship is taking them under. Let that sink in. We are not even halfway through this mess yet.
So for those of y'all who've been keeping up with recent events as it relates to the farmers, right? We talked about Nebraska, and then we talked about Iowa, and all of these farmers, you know, are losing their minds because they're losing their farms, and, you know, they're scared. Well, let me tell y'all what I heard today. So the lobbyist groups for the farmers are proposing another bailout of $16 billion. The last time Syphilitic Sid did this in his first administration, they received a whopping $24 billion in bailouts. Well, this time around, Syphilitic Sid said he doesn't know if he can do that. He's not sure that that's something that they can accommodate. Look, I love the farmers. The farmers are wonderful. They farm, right? They farm. But, you know, we're trying to cut fraud and waste and a lot of unnecessary spending. So now these people and their lobbyists are trying to get bailouts. But what I want to understand is, what happened to you got to pull yourself up by the bootstraps? What happened to we voted for him because he's a great businessman? What happened to we're going to put our trust in him because he's going to help us? Help y'all do what exactly? Lose your farms? Yes, that part. Because you know who invests in these companies that buy up bankrupted farms? Your vice president. So, to all you farmers that voted for this, thinking it was going to be like the last time and he was going to give y'all a bailout and y'all would get those subsidies to support yourselves and your farms and your families, it's not coming. Not this time around. It's not coming. You can just forget it. So, I wish you well. I hope it works out for you. Maybe, you know, somebody can whisper in his ear and change his mind. You know, you might want to reach out to Ivanka because she's his favorite and he listens to her, I guess. But they're not really speaking, you know, ever since like the insurrection. But I don't know. This is just word on the street. You know, it's just gossip, but you didn't hear it from me. But, you know, good luck.
I have a simple message in this video, and that is screw the farmers. Am I allowed to say that? Is that politically incorrect? Well, I don't much care. This is a free speech channel, and I am granting myself permission to say whatever the hell I want. And what I want to say today is screw the farmers. Not all farmers, but the farmers who voted for Donald Trump. And unfortunately, we know for a fact that the overwhelming majority of farmers in this country did vote for Donald Trump. And they deserve to get everything that they voted for. All the negative consequences that are coming their way, they deserve to get all of them. You know, Donald Trump and his tariffs are going to hurt farmers big time. The truth is, the people who supported Donald Trump, by and large, are going to be hurt by Donald Trump's policies far more than the people who did not vote for Trump. And farmers are no exception. You know, in the first Trump administration, he slapped massive tariffs on China. And of course, they responded, slapping massive tariffs on our products, specifically agricultural products. And farmers really took it on the chin, lost billions of dollars. And what did Donald Trump do? Well, he was running for re-election, didn't want to lose support from farmers. So he bailed them out with our tax money. We bailed them out. We bailed out the farmers for their losses. Sounds like socialism, doesn't it? Anyway, that's happening again in this term, and it's going to happen to a much greater extent in this term. And farmers are already talking about wanting a bailout. Well, screw that. No bailouts for these people. They voted for this. They deserve to suffer the consequences of what they voted for. They effed around, and they deserve to find out. So no, farmers, no socialism for you. I know most of you sit on your couches at night at the end of the day with Fox News blaring throughout the house. And you sit there and you rail against socialism. What's socialism? I'm sure most of those farmers couldn't explain to you what socialism is. It's basically anything Fox News tells them it is, and anything that they're opposed to is just socialism. Well, you know what? Might I suggest that you wanting bailouts is socialism. So I know you love socialism, farmers. You loved it in the first Trump administration, and you're demanding it now. But screw that, and screw you. No bailout.
At this point, sympathy in short supply. People have had it, and I don't blame them. You heard that sister laughing about a bailout request. And honestly, it's hard not to laugh. These farmers voted for a man who promised to fix everything. He broke it. Now they want the same people they mocked to feel sorry for them. Then came that white guy saying, flat out, screw MAGA farmers, and that the energy is spreading. Because what folks are realizing is, you can't keep voting for chaos and then beg for peace when it hits your own doorsteps. Trump didn't change. This is exactly who he was. The cruelty, the chaos, the lies, it was all public. It was all obvious. They saw it and they voted for it anyway. And now they want help? Nah, that ship sailed. What's coming next? That's on them.
Breaking news. The Trump administration has tried to bury the deficit $49.5 billion in farm trade deficit for 2025. $49.5 billion trade deficit in farming. Who created this problem? Who stopped imports and exports for farmers? Who put tariffs on everything? Only one person, who is destroying our country and our economy. So let's see. Look at this report. Buried. The White House has buried this trade deficit in farming. Absolute corruption. Proving that Donald Trump sucks at business. In less than 160 days, he is almost bankrupt America. We have trade war, trade deficit. The entire world hates us. Cattle ranchers have lost out on billions of dollars. Billions of dollars have been paid in tariffs, which is an extra tax to the government, people. For God's sake, we are going to a negative gross domestic product. Inflation is shooting up. 160 companies are doing mass layoffs in June. Mass firings and destruction of the USDA, the FAA, all kinds of stuff. This is true corruption. Why did they bury this? Because it's embarrassing. And it puts a sham in DJT's entire economic plan, which is a complete frickin' disaster. You know what this means? Farm bailouts. And only one person caused this.
49.5 billion? That's the deficit they tried to hide. That's not just bad policy. That's a betrayal on a national scale. And it ain't even that long since he walked back into the office. He begged for another bailout. Again, they called it patriotism when he slapped tariffs on Aries. Now they can't get what they need from Canada, China, or anywhere else. And they're shocked. Please. This ain't about left or right. It's about how they got prayed twice. Once in 2016 and now again. You can't cry about the fire when you voted to light the march. You wanted Trump? You got Trump. And this is the price tag. If you're still with me, like this video. If you're done feeling bad for these folks, hit the subscribe. And if you know someone who needs to hear this truth, go ahead and send it their way. See you to the next one. Bye bye. Wish you love and peace.